We have to learn how to keep our emotions between the lines because there's so many different highs and lows, and just that's the part where you're also trying to find that balance. It comes into a
Mm-hmm.
mental balance so that you can have that physical balance, and it's a day to day effort.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is the Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Hey, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. My name is Kevin McIntosh, host of the Closing Table podcast, and we have the pleasure of speaking with top producing real estate agent Heather Shaun. How you doing, Heather?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. First and foremost, we are here to talk very good business, real estate related, but let's start things off a little bit on the soft side. Got a quick game called Word Association for you, Heather. Got about 5 words related to real estate, and it's your job to just give me your initial reaction to it without even thinking, really. Just give me whatever thought comes to your mind, whether that's another word, a definition, a story behind it, whatever the case may be. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, first one, contingent.
Contingent. Contingent is contingent. It can be a pain in the butt. It's when
Mm,
you're trying to bring a buyer into a home, and maybe they have a contingencies to sell the home that they are currently living in. Um, that making sure the dominoes fall the way that they should is when contingent becomes either the pain in the
mm.
butt or we're all good.
Yeah, no, that is true. Next one, pending.
Pending. We love pendings. Pending means we're on our way. We're going to have that thing closed up here in a hot minute.
All right. Home equity loan.
Home equity loan. Smart. You're paying yourself back. Um, a, a blessing that we even have equity that we can borrow against. Um, Equity it's an investment. It's amazing. We all want equity.
True. Capital gains.
Capital gains, trouble. Not really trouble. Nobody likes to pay the taxes on a Nobody likes to pay the taxes on a capital gain.
Lastly, homeowners association.
Oh, pain in the butt. Um,
Oh wow.
well, homeowners associations, you can have great ones. You can have some sticky ones.
Mm,
It's good to know and understand what your neighborhood is going to. You want to understand all the ins and outs of your neighborhood before you decide that's the place you're going to live. Most HOAs actually are decent. They take care of a lot of great things. I just know
there you
by
go.
living in one, sometimes they can be a pain in the butt. That's my word of the day. My phrase of the day.
Great way to land the plane, Heather. We appreciate that. Starting off the day with a quick game icebreaker. Thank you first and foremost. So what I like to do now is kind of get on the inside of our guests by giving you 60 seconds to explain who you are as a person outside of real estate, Heather.
Oh, this is a really good one. I enjoyed your questions, so I look forward to answering them. So I am a mom. I have two college age kids. I have a son at Michigan State and a daughter that plays soccer at Ashland University. They
Okay.
keep me young, but this is my first year as an empty nester, so that was a little tough to navigate, but I'm fine.
Mm,
But I also love to travel. I love art, architecture, history. Love time with my friends and family. I love the sun and the sand. I like me time. That's something I learned how to cherish probably about 6 months ago.
there it is. There it is. Love that. All relatable things. I can appreciate you for explaining that. All right, Heather. So give us a paint a picture for us for the current market that you're serving right now. Can you tell us where you're serving? Give us the geographical information first, and then we'll move into the economics of it.
Sure. So I do serve Southeast Michigan, wherever my clients take me. I've lived in Lenawee, Washtenaw, Livingston, Oakland, and now Wayne County. So I, I do serve a large area, but I've technically lately I've been splitting my time up between Oakland and Livingston County.
Mhm.
Both counties are pretty equivalent. I look at the market stats every week, so it looks like the days on market about 25 days on average for both counties. and in general, actually, a lot of all of our Southeast Michigan or Metro Detroit area does tend to see the same days on market. Um, Homes in Livingston and Oakland County, the average home sale price is around about 380. Um,
Mm,
you
mm,
Yeah, it's interesting because when you look at Washtenaw County, you see an average home sale price of about mid 400s. You look at Wayne County, it's about 220.
yeah,
So it just depends on where you're living, right?
yeah.
Macomb. I just when I do these market stats, it just really opens my eyes up to what's going on in each of these counties and understanding where the growth is. And but yeah, so I specifically I've been mostly serving Oakland and Livingston County.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for painting that picture for us. This is gonna tell you how my brain works out of everything that you just said. One thing that stood out to me. Did you say you stayed in Lenawee? What did you call it?
No,
Lenawee?
Lenawee, Lenawee. Have you never heard of
This
Lenawee?
no, no, no. This is the crazy thing about that. Is that the one that's spelled Lenawee?
Now you're gonna test me. I think so.
I
Lenawee.
have
Yeah,
see, I'm asking
Lenawee or something like that.
I'm asking that because I've seen that and I'm like, is it Lanawi? And
Nope,
you just
nope.
basically correct. I've always saw that sign, just never knew what it was pronounced. And you just actually clarified that on a random basis. So thank you first and foremost.
I'm so happy to
Educating
help
us here
you.
on the closing table.
Happy
All
to
right,
help you.
cool, cool. All right, so you are in sort of a unique situation. You built your business from scratch. I want you to talk about that experience. Building a business from scratch requires dedication and hard work that a lot of people may not understand. Can you share some of the strategies or approaches you use to successfully establish yourself as a self-employed real estate agent in this competitive market?
Of course. So like everyone else, I started out fresh. I was in an industry for 20 years, so that was automotive. Got into
Mm,
this industry and I didn't understand. I mean, I did understand there was a lot to it, but I think sometimes you're really naive to what really goes into real estate in a transaction.
mhm,
So I remember getting licensed, and my one of my good friends got me licensed with her boutique brokerage, and she was going to serve Florida, and I was going to help her serve Michigan. And I'm like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. And then when I really started getting in front of different clients, and this is as I just got started, I
mhm,
recognized like I didn't know a lot of things. I couldn't answer inspection things. I couldn't talk about lending. Um, I felt foolish. I felt like a liability. So that's
mm,
about the time when I also understood the hustle was going to be real for me. I was a stay-at-home mom, trying to build a new life for myself and my kids. And so I'm grateful for Keller Williams. We offer so much coaching and training, and there's a lot of mentorship, and it was necessary for me. So I dove right into all the coaching, dove into the training classes being offered. The education was free. And then 2 years into my career, I hired a coach. So I was spending um, a, an hour a week with a MAPS coach, which is through Keller Williams. So I had her for 24 months. And
mm,
it was nice because I had the accountability. She really pushed me to set my goals. Um,
right.
it just from building a real there's a big foundation that has to be established too to keep building and compounding. So and then I just surrounded myself by the movers and the shakers. Like I knew, like watching these people who are successful building their businesses, that's what it's going to need to look like. So
Mm-hmm.
it lights a different fire in you, and you just it's fun, but it is a lot. It's a lot. So you're always every single day I tell a lot of people, like, even though these new agents feel very insecure, I've only been doing this for 5 years, but like you feel very insecure and as if like you need to know everything, but even as a 5, 10, 15, 20 year agent, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
learn something new every day. So
For
there's never
sure.
going to be a point we're going to know it all. So,
Yeah. And you should be learning something new every day. The
oh,
market's forever changing, technology is changing. So, I mean, if you feel like you know it all and you're done with your education, then I mean, you're probably
right.
the foolish one in the classroom, to be honest with you. So, that's a great
Surely.
point that you made right there, Heather.
Thank you. Thank you.
Balancing your own real estate business while also helping others build theirs through coaching and training shows your commitment to collaboration and growth. So, commend you for that. But how do
Thank
you
you.
manage your time and energy effectively to ensure you can provide both excellent service to your clients and valuable support to fellow agents?
Woo, that's a good one because when I read that question, I was like, "Oh, this is a funny one." Um, balance is not my friend. Like, I'm always, like, a little bit
Mm.
like this right now, but,
Mhm.
not there's no perfect balance, and for everything, there's a counterbalance. So,
Right.
I have learned how to get more diligent with my, time blocking. I used to kinda think it was the idea of time blocking was great in theory. Like, you have to have time to do everything. But I'm also the type of person who I think my brain at one point got trained to multitask to a fault. And so
Mm.
I just had to get really clear on focus and staying focused within my time blocks. That's more important now than it ever has been because as an agent, I had the flexibility to do anything I wanted to do at any time, even though I
Mhm.
knew, I had clients to meet. But now that I'm into a 9 to 5 role and as an agent, my 9 to 5 is very time blocked for me to be able to, to stay on task and do the things I need. And then outside of my 9 to 5, then I still have to realize, like, I still have to sleep, I still have to eat, I have to do,
Yeah.
some big things, and my business is actually doubling right now. As soon as I took this job, the 9 to 5, I joined a team because I understood that, I needed the leverage. I was either going to have to hire someone and train them and manage them, or I could join a team that was gonna help me build my business. And so
Mm.
I was very I guess my mind I was very purposeful about who I align myself with too. And and so far, I mean, it's been working out and my business is just I've been consistently like a 5 6 million dollar agent as stuff was comfortably coming to me without doing much, because I always poured and I'll get to the other part where we talk about culture, but, I just found myself doing so much for everyone else and putting myself on the side. So the
Mhm.
minute I started leveraging and really being able to, like, find time to work both sides of the business, I'm looking at possibly closing around 10 to 11 this year, which is
Okay.
I and it's amazing when I look at that because it's just seeing what happens in 5 years and how things can compound. It's just about, your brand and your personality and who you are and how you do business, and it comes back to you.
Yep. And that consistency, putting in that work every day,
Yeah,
just continuously working. And that time, that the time blocking and time management that you spoke on, I feel like you were talking to me because I feel like most adults, like we get into that whole situation of not really managing our time
yeah,
effectively to be the full potential, live the full potential that we can live. I got to a certain point, where I had to pretty much do the same thing. Okay, I go to work. As soon as I get off work, I got to spend an hour doing this, working on my business, another hour doing creative things, another hour cleaning up the home, another, things like that. That way you don't let things go to the
yeah.
wayside.
But
Cause I mean,
even time blocking ourselves, that's the part where I
mm-hmm,
had to, like, last week, I'm like,
it's a good
"I'm gonna
point.
time block 2 days a week just to be home from 5 to so I can get home for dinner." I
Mm-hmm.
that's not easy.
Oh no! Oh no! That's that's a testament for us all, right there, Heather. Making it to the
We're
top 20 individual agent board in Michigan's top 20 brokerage is an impressive achievement, first and foremost. So, congratulations.
Thank
Now,
you.
I have to ask you, what do you think contributed to your success, and how do you contribute to differentiate yourself in a field with a bunch of talented agents?
Um, I don't know if it's that was a kind of a hard one to think about too, as how do we really differentiate ourselves? But
Yep.
um, one for myself, I do social media freelance also, so I have a good knowledge base of like additional marketing and the social media aspect, and really getting all the eyes on the listing.
Mm,
So I feel for me that's just another just value add to my service, but there goes so much more goes into in my opinion into a transaction. I feel like I would prefer to see myself more as a concierge. I think a lot of us do, but we wear a lot of different hats. So for
right.
me, I don't feel like I'm in there just for the buy and the sell. I'm in there for the education. Like first time home buyers, sitting them down and really looking at a budget every month, or just their budget, what their budget should look like every month, to truly
Mm-hmm.
understand whether or not that home that they got approved for at 300 really is not going to push them over the ledge, financially. So I spend a lot of time making sure that we're good with the numbers. We've got a really good relationship with the mortgage lender so that we know that when it comes time to write the offer, we have a good strategy in place. When it gets to listings, we spend a lot of time coming in and talking to the seller, looking around, making sure we stage it appropriately. Um, there's some things we got a little bit stickier about that we can, but trying to serve our clients also the way we would have a really good loved family member.
Right.
Um, I want this process to be as smooth and um, and peaceful as possible because we already know that this is a big investment for people. It puts them on edge. Sometimes it brings out the worst in people. So it's just, we wear this hat where it's like we've got to be a therapist and we're going to be the hand to hold. And
Yep. Yep.
so for me, I feel like I give people in business the same as I would a dear friend. Like, because I just want them to understand that that service matters to me just as much too, because I can't walk away from something and feel like it didn't go well. I wanted to know that
Mm-hmm.
they don't have buyer's remorse, or, if it's a seller, like we did the best we could for them and we served them in all the ways. Um, so I don't know that I'm really thinking I'm differentiating myself differently than others, but I do know that I do take that type of care when I'm working with my people.
Yeah, yeah. Personality styles have value if you ask me. I mean, you building a rapport with someone is a skill. Not everyone is socially conscious or aware or emotionally aware and things of that nature. I
Yeah,
mean, there's like you said, there's a lot of things that go into purchasing a home. A lot of emotions more than anything.
a lot of
A lot of people go
psychology.
through. Correct, correct.
A
And
lot of
I've had that same talk with multiple
excuse me.
agents. I mean, you can go with somebody, deal with somebody who's going through a divorce. I mean, talk about the emotions that you had to deal with
Yeah.
up and throughout that transaction. So, I mean, it's more than just being knowledgeable about the neighborhood and the market. Like you said, I mean, you wear many hats because you're dealing with actual people.
Yeah, and
So,
that's the best part. That's why I love what I do so much, is because I connect with people well.
mm-hmm,
I enjoy people. But to your point, I dealt with a woman. She was like a family member to me, and we're dealing with selling their family home after the death of her husband. And
yep,
so
yep,
it is
mm,
emotional, and it can get. And as an agent, you can get really wrapped into their emotions too. So we have what we call a bold law, that in this job we have to learn how to keep our emotions between the lines, because there's so many different highs and lows. And just that's the part where you're also trying to find that balance. It comes into a
mm-hmm.
mental balance so that you can have that physical balance. And it's a day to day effort.
Right. No, that's a good point too, because you could be one of those agents that's just nonchalant about their feelings whatsoever. You're like, yeah, I understand you're going through a divorce. Sign this paperwork.
Right.
It's like,
So
wow, like, yo, chill.
no,
Have
no, no,
some
no.
grace.
Right. Yes, have some grace.
All right, so Heather, you are also appointed culture ambassador for the Michigan and Northern Ohio region, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that sounds bigger and better than it is, but yes, I mean, it's an accomplishment. It was great, but it was, each of our market centers selects somebody. So there's so many different Michigan, there might be, let's just say 30 market centers in our region. Every market
Hmm.
center selected somebody to represent them as their culture ambassador, and then
Got you.
so there'd be 35 ambassadors. But
Got
it
you.
was it was an honor. I left my brokerage in Brighton and came to Birmingham in 2020, and within 4 or 5 months of being there, and I'm now trying to identify myself as it's an independent agent for the first time, because I was on a small team prior to that. Um,
Mm.
they asked me to step in this role to lead our culture community. So it's like a committee, right, that oversees, like, we have finance and growth and education. I was in charge of culture. And so my job was told it's a volunteer position, and our focus is like our relationship with the external community. So having events and making, organizing that. But I
Mm.
also came with a different opinion, and maybe it wasn't just mine alone, but I just felt like this is the way it was sold to me. But my goal is also internal culture. I know what it's like to be a brand new agent feeling like you're on an island by yourself. I know
Right.
what it's like, when you've got different people, from different walks of life. it matters, and it matters to some of the people who don't come into the office all the time wanting to still feel connected. So my opinion is the better your culture is within your four walls, you're going to represent yourself even stronger and bigger and better outside the four walls. So, they work hand in hand. So for me, I'm a lover and my door is open to all the people. And that's where I was finding myself getting in trouble with my business was that from 8, 9 to 5, I'm all culture and I'm taking care of
Right.
you and like making sure you guys are getting what you need. And then to the detriment of my other job, and, so I'd be like, "Get the hell out of my office at 5 o'clock so I can sit here and work on my job until 10." Like, "Get
That's
out.
funny.
I love you, but go." So,
That's funny.
anyway, but yeah, so I think it was just my willingness to help be a part of something bigger than myself, and
Right,
and
right.
and doing that out of, I don't know, I mean, it's who I am, it's what we do, it's just that's what makes our company so great too, is that it's culture is one of our core values.
There you go.
Yep.
Do you have any specific examples of any initiatives or events that you hosted to kind of, show that camaraderie and support the agents?
Yeah, I mean, that's we do a lot here. We do a lot of different internal events, and when I say that, we try to do, and I know it sounds kind of cliche to say happy hour, but we do like different type of things. One, just to keep us networking and in front of each other because mentoring and partnerships and relationships are important.
Mm,
But at the same time, like our we offer and bring in a lot of different trainers and my office specifically right now, we're talking a lot about even just mental health and wellness because we have a position and we're out there in the community every day. And to the point we've talked about already, I mean, there's a
hmm.
lot of us that are on burnout. And, like the nursing industry, you don't know how many people I interview who are leaving healthcare and they think getting into real estate is going to
Yeah.
help them with that burnout. But it's just making sure, like, we're just trying to make always provide listen to what their needs are, and if they're you see the people in burnout, then maybe we're bringing them in to talk about their energy and physical balance, but then we also hear them talk about their mindset in terms of a shifting market, and what do we need to make sure that we are feeling like we're being supported or getting what we need or have working together to mastermind. So and then just with our internal events and whatnot that we do, we also start working like we do the pumpkin fest in October. We give away
Okay.
1,000 pumpkins and all the kids get to come and all the agents get to
Mm,
come and we get to spend time together. We do movie nights in the park and we invite families out and spend a day together. So it's like there's eh, you know gathering makes the world go round. That's we try
there
to
it
do the
is.
best we can.
There it is. I know, right? And especially right after a time where we all had to be separated from each other. I mean, we're still
Yes.
kind of shaking off the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah,
lot of us,
yeah.
still really getting outside. So doing things like that, to keep the team together,
Well,
to keep the team,
and it's important too because, there are still a lot of us that do work from home. So to your point with
yeah.
COVID, like people
Yep.
stopped coming in the office as much. So just
Mm-hmm.
trying to find ways, like we just recently, there's an agent here who started something called Wine, Women, and Wealth. So once a month, it's just women from, I mean, it's not just our office or agents, it's just all people, all women.
Right.
And we come together and we just talk about, we'll bring in a different speaker, but it involves wine, women, and wealth. Like it just,
Hmm.
but
You don't say.
but it's just having some time and bringing people together because even
Mm-hmm.
though you work from home and you're out there serving people, um, eh, people are important and having others just we've got some elderly people we know they're in the business
Right.
but they just work from home and they just come in sometimes and nobody really knows who they are when they're here and they feel a little bit like does anybody know me or
Right.
so I think that's the part where I just feel like the more we can do like the happy hours and these extra offerings that we have, it it makes a difference in some of their lives, I think.
There you go. There you go. Hey, I think you spoke on this earlier before transitioning from the role of a assistant team leader at KW Metro in Royal Oak, Very exciting opportunity. Now, how do you plan on leveraging your experience and skills to support and empower the team of leaders there?
Um, I feel super this is interesting. I love this question too because this was a role that I was not looking for. It opened
Mm,
itself up to me. I literally just got licensed 5 years ago. As I said, I started in Birmingham in 2020. And
right.
being a part of the culture committee allowed me to kind of have a little bit of a foot in working with the leadership. Um, Maybe my personality is more like leader designed, but
Okay.
I put it out in the universe very quietly. Like, if I could do this and get paid for this all day, I absolutely would. And then, like, a couple
Mm,
months later, I get this call and they're like, "Hey, we got an opportunity." So I feel one, that's why getting into the culture committee was important to me because I thought about the agents and like, what does a new agent need? It's the education, it's the mentorship, it's the coaching, it's all the things. Um, Sometimes when you're an older agent, or not older agent, but agent who's been in this industry for a while, you kind of tend to forget what a new agent needs. And so, working with our leadership group, I think, we all come from different walks of life within the real estate community, but what I love about my group, which I find interesting from the fact that we've got one male and like five or six females, but we all get on a call every single morning, and it's a gratitude call. It's a gratitude and goal call. So we all get on there and we're just talking about our day and sharing gratitude and then expressing what our goal is for that day. Um, so I
mm,
think we just all just work really well together in terms of a little bit of all, as I said, all walks of life. We all have some form of a gift that we bring to each other in that way. This role I feel like has been important to me because I love to be able to share and watch people build bigger lives. And when I came into this
nice.
office, I know what it's like to grow up and have to work really hard for what we have. I lived in subsidized housing when I was young. My dad was military. My mom was stay at home. Nobody gave me a college degree. Nobody even told me how to get into college. I
Mm,
worked my way through everything I've ever had to do. And when I sit here and I'm watching these people build some really big businesses and building big lives for themselves and coming from ways, like how I did, it's
right.
something to be super proud of because you've got a lot of great agents out there too, but they belong to clubs, they've got families that belong to clubs. And so things come maybe just a little easier and no
Right.
disrespect. But like, I just feel like knowing where I've come from, I'm sorry, where I'm coming from and the what I've what I've learned to get to this point and how can I share that with somebody else because the first 3 years 80% of these people drop out of this business.
Hmm.
How can they feel supported and understand that if I can do this, so can they?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the way you put that out there. If you can do it, so can they. But sometimes if you got it, you got it.
Well,
And if you
you're
don't, you
not
don't.
wrong. Yeah,
Right. Right.
you've got to have the hustle, you've got to have the mindset. And you're right, it's not for everybody, but
But nonetheless, providing the resources can make it a little bit easier. I get exactly what you're saying.
yeah.
Got you. Got you. I mean, do you have any goals for your team for this year that you don't mind sharing with us?
Well, it's not my goal, it's my team leader's goal.
Right.
We're going for 30 million this year. This is a big goal for
Ooh.
her. Yeah, I know, right? This is a big goal for her. As she was always that one person in front of me, that I kept watching how she was building her business and like if I could do it, I'm going to do it like her. So I
Mm,
know even her goal is a big one this year. She set my personal production goal to 9 million, which is double, but I also think I'm going to exceed that. So,
all right.
yeah, it's big goals. And I think for me, I'm proud of the team I'm with. I'm proud of what we're doing together. It's a group of really empowering women and two men. But we just all bring something a little different to the table, and it's not about one woman. But what I'm loving about learning how our team has it down. And so I
Mhm.
can see when we talk about building teams, what does that model look like?
Right.
That's also helping me in my role as an ATL to be able to help other agents build teams and make sure that they've got proper systems and foundations and whatnot. So it's been a really good experience.
There it is. There. It's always about the journey and not the destination, getting there. And part of the journey, mentoring other agents and helping them build their careers is also part of the journey, and it's also a rewarding endeavor. Something that you're
I'm
doing.
sorry.
What do you consider to be the most important aspects of mentoring, and how do you provide support, resources, and guidance to ensure their success?
This is where I have to move my arm a second.
Right.
Like, "Hey, so sorry."
It's all good.
It's like, "You're alone." Alright, so I would say can you repeat the question?
Oh no. So with mentoring, what do you consider to be the most important aspects of it, and how do you provide the support and resources and guidance for their success?
So mentoring, I think too, you kind of have to meet them where they're at, right? I mean, we only know how to
Hmm.
mentor properly if we can understand where
Yes.
they're at and what is their journey. Um, but I feel like just really understanding too, we got in this business it doesn't matter what business that you're in, just life in general. Nobody teaches you how to handle life. Nobody tells you like how to handle your finances and
Hmm.
what things we're supposed to have lined up and how to protect yourself type of stuff. And so sitting with our agents right now too, especially our young ones, I love this conversation. It's just like this is the time, guys. Get it right now, right? Find the work ethic, start putting your money away, investing. So I we have conversations in my market center that I don't believe a lot of market centers are sharing, but we have 1 day a month we have an investors club. So we're bringing different investors, people who can help us in our investment world, either learn how to
Right.
have conversations with investors or how to become investors. We try to teach our agents how to when we have a 70-30 split until we're fully capped, what to do with that extra 30%. It's not it's a raise, but it's not, don't live high off the hog and go take that vacation and blow
Right.
your
Right.
30, go put it away. Start
Mhm.
investing, start building your nest egg, because some days in this market you're not going to get a paycheck. um, so just mentoring from that place where like been there, done it, but just understanding too, there's so many important facets of building a business. And when you're self-employed, you don't really fully understand what you have or what you need. Um,
Right.
and just even from the standpoint of the education, just realizing like it's not just about buying and selling a house, but it is truly walking around with your inspection people, having them teach you how to inspect a house, how to show a house to a brand new buyer with the eyes of an inspector. um,
Mm.
just understand that when we're talking about education, it goes further than just knowing what the current interest rates are going to be. It goes
Right.
into product and things like that too. So um, I think the best mentors are the ones who are just going to be able to really hold their hand and listen to them. But also, everybody has a different way of learning, and some people take a little longer than others. So,
Correct.
finding grace and patience in that can be challenging to some, but just making sure for them to get what they need, and to be a good coach and a good leader. Um, just just taking the time to stop and help them find their A to B within their own time.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, see, I was just talking about this recently. Everybody has different learning styles. I didn't grow up as the kid or the student that was great at just studying. Like, I could not
Me
sit in
either.
one area and look at a book or words for a certain amount of time, consume that, and be able to read digest. I just cannot do it. I'm
Right.
more of a hands on, maybe picture coloring book type of learner. Like, I just can't do it.
We all
But
got our
but
thing.
nonetheless, if the information is delivered to me in a way that I can receive it and understand it, then I can still receive and understand and learn that information the same way. But at the same time, it depends on how interested and invested you are in that endeavor. Because,
Yeah.
like I always say, formal education gets you a portion, self education gets you a fortune. So if you take that extra step
Amen.
to go out and educate yourself, that's probably what you need to actually, get to that other end of success, if you ask me.
1,000%.
So,
Yep.
all right. So, Heather, I want you to take this time in the episode to inspire myself and our audience. If you could share with us a book, a movie, a quote, whatever philosophy that you live by that motivates you to be a successful real estate agent, can you share that with us to motivate us? What motivated you?
Sure. So, I am learning more and more. it's taken me a while. I'm into my second half of my, is it a century? I don't even know. But anyway, I I'm peaking the crest of the hill, whatever. So
Right.
I'm now learning like there's just to be good in this business, and I think in anything in life is just starting to find yourself being okay with yourself. And like just we're learning so many things, but we also tend to give ourselves a lot to other things. And I know in my role here, I love real estate because I love people. I love this leadership role because I love people. And just realizing that, I came into this with some insecurities and some things that believe I had limiting beliefs. And
Yeah.
so I was given an opportunity, and I had to really be okay with realizing this was a gift, right? I had my team leader, my partner, gave me some hard love one time and just said, you're in one of the best market centers in this country. He's like, you've got to be okay. Like, own this. You were given an opportunity. You've earned your right to be here. Stop asking permission. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and so I'm it's really kind of given me a chance to do what I really feel like I was made to do, but I've got to be at the point in my life too to be able to say, be okay with this. You deserved it. You don't feel guilty about it. Feel blessed, be grateful. So I think like right now I'm spending a lot of time. Um, I listen to a lot of different podcasts. One's called The Awakened Her. It's just
Mm.
about it's a woman who's come from a really tough place in her life, and it's just helping. And it's not just about women, but it's just empowering ourselves to like get outside or get out of our way and just do the big things. We've got one
Right.
real life to live, and are we going to continuously stand in our way um, of allowing these doors to be open? I mean, the universe is ready to provide, right? We just got to be ready to be like ask for it, and it does
Mhm.
come. And it's weird how that happens. So there's been so many books, and there's been lots of podcasts, and I wish I could think of like just one quote, but just taking the time to explore our needs, right? And just making sure like we're truly doing something to move the needle forward.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's so many different things that it's so many messages that we all consume and things like that. I completely understand. It's just you just live basically by the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated, and you
Amen.
just move forward
You
like
did
that.
remember.
So
I did remember. I just read a book, and I could recommend this one because it did make an impact. It was
please.
called The Four Agreements. I just finished reading
Mm.
that. Have you read that?
Miguel Ruiz is Miguel Ruiz. Is that the author?
Possibly. I don't
I
know the
believe
author's
so.
name.
I've read that.
It's a
I've read
pre
that.
it's a great book, and then I also The Alchemist, reading that one.
Mm.
I forget. I read things that really make an impact, but I forget to share. But yeah, The Four Agreements was probably one of the
Don
best books.
Don Miguel Ruiz. That's
Okay.
correct. That's the author for Agreements. Correct.
And what I
Yeah.
loved about that book
Love that
is
book.
and everyone that saw me reading it was like, "Oh my god, I've read that so many times." And at first, when I started reading it, I was like, the first part of the first chapter, I was kind of like, this feels, and not that I'm not spiritual. And I was like, is
Mhm.
this going to take me down this like rabbit hole? And I love, I have nothing against Christianity and religion and anything, but it was like
Mhm.
it just got it out there. It got it out there that this is kind of the basis. But then as I started reading the book, I'm like, wow, this really does make so much sense, because the
Mhm.
one part that really made the impact was when they were talking about early conditioning, like just so many things that
Facts.
we find ourselves doing, and
Yep.
some things that we just can't get past
Yep.
has nothing to do with us. It has a lot to do with just that early conditioning. And then,
Programming. Yep. Oh
yep.
my goodness.
And what do we need to do to kind of unwind it? So as I got through that book, I was just like, and having, I can't remember how they pulled it, using your words, right? Just being like really intentional with your words, and
Yep. Correct.
being, lots of great lessons in that. And in fact, I shared that with my kids. I'm like, if I could get you to read two books, that one and Rich Dad Poor Dad, like just go read those
Oh,
books.
you on point. Yeah, I think we are all living the same life. Yes, those are two books I would recommend any part of the day. Absolutely.
We're
And
gonna
that's the same thing I got from that book, The Four Agreements. When I read it, I was like, this just makes sense.
it
It's literally
really
the same thing I said. It makes sense.
but if you think about people, and you're looking at someone, and you're like, oh, I can see that you were
Yep.
raised this way. Like I
Hmm.
see that. And,
Hmm.
being even with a partner in life and be like, why are you like this? And then all of a sudden you go back and like, oh, it makes all perfect sense now. Like,
Bring it full circle.
it's like, okay, I
That's
understand it
hilarious.
now. Yeah, I
Right.
understand it now.
Well, we appreciate you for sharing that, Heather, and pulling up a chair to the closing table. Thank you so, so much for sharing all that knowledge. At this point, if you have any last words and or want to tell the people how to reach out to you, please do so now.
Um, I mean, really, last words, I would say that if you're interested in getting into a career of real estate, please contact me. I can certainly answer any questions or see if I can't help you. Actually, at Keller Williams, we do provide scholarships that help people get licensed. That helps cover the cost. So it's a really great opportunity there. As just as a person, just taking the time and really stepping back and learning that late in life too is that we matter a lot, and for us to be good
Hmm.
for anything and anyone, we got to really take care of ourselves first. And how to find me, my email is heather@thebetterco.com, and you can call me by my cell phone numbers 248-412-3952.
There it is. There it is. Thank you so much again, Heather, for being here. And for
It
our
was fun.
YouTube audience watching right now, if you got into this point in the video, it's your time to hit that thumb. Yes, please hit that like button for us. Also, make sure you share the content and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Heather, we always leave our audience with a question for them to think before we leave. How important is the history or story behind a property when making a purchase? Don't tell us now. Think about it and tell us in the comments below. Besides that, we'll talk to you next time.